The movie opens with Ronan rehearsing her welcome message for her daughter Dodo in front of a video camera. Ronan has endured a traumatic past that took a toll on her mental health, making it impossible for her to raise Dodo on her own. As a result, Dodo is currently in a foster home under the care of a man named Ming. Fortunately, Ronan has been allowed by the court to prove herself capable of caring for Dodo. Subsequently, a social worker accompanies Ronan to the daycare facility, where she will finally meet Dodo. Upon their arrival, Ming questions Ronan's motive for filming them. She explains that it's a keepsake for Dodo to cherish when she grows older. Then, she tries to talk to Dodo, taking the time to connect with her. Later, she interviews Ming, delving into his approach to managing the foster home. Ming shares his desire to fulfill his paternal responsibilities, even if it means raising children who lack parents, like Dodo. He expresses a special fondness for Dodo, since she's the only one who affectionately calls him Daddy. Eventually, Ronan returns home with her daughter and they share a cute playtime. However, their joyful moments are interrupted by a distressing sound from Dodo's bedroom. Ronan rushes to inspect the window, while Dodo fixates oddly on the ceiling. Afterwards, Ronan takes Dodo to the bathroom to administer eye drops, as a tiny blood vessel has ruptured in her left eye. Later that night, as Ronan excitedly recounts their experiences on camera, there's a sudden blackout. Ronan attempts to restore the electricity, but her efforts prove futile. More peculiar occurrences unfold. A milk carton left open in the fridge, lights flickering in the hallway, and the eerie sound of weeping echoing from the elevator. These unsettling incidents worry Ronan, compelling her to secure their door. Unfortunately, the disturbance persists. Dodo's toys scatter mysteriously, even though she remains sound asleep, and the toilet flushes when no one has used it. After witnessing a series of unsettling events, Ronan's main concern is finding her missing daughter, who is no longer in her bed. Frantically searching, she peers under the bed and catches sight of Dodo crawling away. Ronan follows her up to the balcony, where the child eerily repeats her own name. With her head bowed, Dodo retreats into her room, letting out a menacing snarl. Concerned, Ronan opens the door and rushes to Dodo's side, offering comfort and reassurance. The following day, Ronan is compelled to take time off from work to address her daughter's alarming behavior at school. The kindergarten teacher informs that Dodo had bitten one of her classmates during a class. Worried, she extends her apologies to the classmate's mother for Dodo's unruly conduct. Ronan decides to bring her daughter home earlier than usual, given the incident. During their journey back, Ronan contacts Ming, sharing the distressing details of Dodo's actions at school. However, Dodo interrupts, explaining that she resorted to biting her classmate because he had been insulting her. Later that night, Ronan receives a call from a social worker and a colleague from her workplace, who question her abilities both as a mother and an employee. Overwhelmed by the mounting pressure, Ronan turns to prayer as a means to calm her racing thoughts. Suddenly, she is startled by a scream from Dodo's room. Rushing to investigate, Ronan is taken aback when she witnesses Dodo commanding an unseen entity, a baddie, according to Dodo, to come down from the ceiling. Realizing that she cannot physically reach the ceiling, she asks Ronan to guide the baddie away from their residence. Ronan complies and leads the apparent baddie out of their apartment. However, just as Ronan reaches the door, the baddie swiftly re-enters, manifesting as a shadowy figure. The next day, Ronan pays another visit to the school. She's concerned about her daughter's behavior as she seems distracted in class. The daycare principal explains that Dodo often talks to herself and gazes at the ceiling, disrupting the other students. Ronan recalls witnessing this behavior the previous night and decides to take action. She decides to distribute gifts to the other students as a way to discourage them from bullying Dodo. Later on, Ronan returns home with a plan in mind. She decides to install a camera inside Dodo's bunny bag to keep an eye on her. Meanwhile, the principal reviews the footage from the camera and makes a shocking discovery. The video captures a strange elongated hand reaching over Dodo during their playtime. See, when a kid says they're seeing something scary, you should probably believe them to save yourself. Now we follow the duo celebrating Dodo's birthday at the mall. After the celebration, they head back home. However, upon their arrival, they are met by the landlord, who wants to discuss the removal of Buddha statues from the roof. While Ronan engages in a conversation with the landlord, Dodo's curiosity gets the best of her. Dodo ventures off to explore the rooftop when she hears a mysterious voice. She leaps off the fence to retrieve a knife from the dormer. After successfully retrieving it, she climbs back up and enters a room with Buddha statues. In a bizarre twist, she chants an eerie incantation just before the room's door swings open, revealing Dodo giggling over a video captured by Ronan's camera. Eventually, a worried Ronan discovers Dodo on the rooftop and swiftly takes away everything she's holding. Then, she rushes her daughter to the hospital as Dodo begins to hyperventilate. The next day arrives and Ming pays a visit to Ronan to deliver some troubling news. He informs her that Dodo has been diagnosed with hemiparesis, a condition causing weakness on one side of her body. Ronan finds it odd that Dodo, who was previously in good health, is now facing such an ailment. As they talk, Ming hands Ronan a red envelope with Dodo's name on it. He explains that the social worker acquired it from the temple and believes it serves as a protective measure. However, Ronan is overcome with panic as she recognizes this item from her traumatic past. During these events, the social worker who retrieved the red envelope tragically takes their own life. This unfortunate incident, coupled with the other misfortunes surrounding Dodo, begins to plunge Ronan into the depths of fear once more. She turns to therapy yet again, but sadly, the sessions fail to provide any relief. With Dodo's health deteriorating under Ronan's care, the court decides to strip her of custody rights. However, Ronan refuses to accept this ruling and decides to take matters into her own hands. Impulsively, she breaks Dodo out of the hospital and quickly stops by their apartment to gather their belongings. Aware that Dodo is now missing, the police and social workers initiate a search in the vicinity of Ronan's apartment. During the search, Ming spots Ronan's parked car nearby and notices Dodo hiding inside. He attempts to persuade her to come with him, but upon seeing Ronan approaching the car, he hesitates, unsure whether to report her or not, as he understands a mother's pain of losing a child. Listening to his heart, he allows Ronan to enter the car, and together they drive away, eluding the cop. Together, they visit the secluded village where it all began. Now, why would you take your child to a place that's the reason for your trauma? Anyway, a flashback shows that 6 years ago, the villagers constructed a forbidden tunnel, concealing something precious within its depths. They were devoted followers of the deity known as Mother Buddha, whose sacred existence was said to reside within the tunnel. The legends and curses surrounding Mother Buddha had fascinated Ronan, her boyfriend, Dom, and his cousin Yan. They had decided to record the rituals for their channel. To their advantage, Yan and Dom had ancestral ties to the village, granting them an opportunity to visit. As they arrive in the village, the residents welcome them with a distinct hand gesture, knuckles intertwined, fingers gracefully spread apart. They are greeted by Yan and Dom's family, but Ronan is asked to leave as it's forbidden by outsiders to proceed any further. Fortunately, an elderly lady known as Great Aunt among the villagers grants her permission to enter the village. With the conflict resolved, the trio goes on a guided tour of the village. As they explore, their eyes fall upon a young girl, anointed as the Chosen One, receiving intricate tattoos from an artist of the village. When Yan approaches Granduncle to inquire about the nearby tunnel, his response is cryptic, stating that it is off-limits to everyone. Undeterred, Ronan and the two brothers devise a plan to capture footage of a sacred prayer held at night. They first write their names on a piece of paper and hand them to Granduncle. Then, after the prayer, they are informed by Great Aunt that their real names are now considered unspeakable in the village. By offering their names to Mother Buddha, these names are now under the deity's ownership. To solidify their connection with Mother Buddha, Great Aunt takes a lock of hair from the Chosen One and distributes strands onto Ronan, Dom, and Yan's paper names. Each name is sealed within a red envelope, ensuring their sacred bond. Surprisingly, the Chosen One approaches Ronan and offers prayers directed at her stomach. Great Aunt reveals that Ronan is pregnant and needs to offer the name of her unborn baby girl to Mother Buddha upon her birth. During their stay in the village, Ronan experiences growing fatigue and various pregnancy symptoms. However, Dom remains determined to continue filming, completely ignorant about his girlfriend's health. At night, they once again sneak out and record the villagers huddled together in a room, repeatedly reciting the eerie incantation. During the recitation, the Chosen One catches them watching. Sensing their curiosity, she approaches them and invites them to play. They agree, and the Chosen One leads Ronan into a room filled with art and statues of Mother Buddha. She unveils a box containing living frogs and asks Ronan to feed them. As Ronan feeds the frogs, he notices that the girl is missing her left ear. When she inquires, the girl explains that the gods have chosen her, and Mother Buddha has taken her flesh as a blessing for everyone. Suddenly, the Buddha statues in the room tremble and fix their gaze upon Ronan, hinting that the baby she carries has also been chosen by the gods. Seizing the moment, the Chosen One urges Ronan to bow and recite an incantation with her. However, their encounter is abruptly interrupted by Granduncle. Caught in the act, he commands them to leave the village at first light and confines them to their room. Still not getting the hint to not meddle, the frustrating trio sets their sights on achieving their goal. They manage to escape from the house and discreetly make their way on the sloping road that leads to the tunnel. Unfortunately, their progress is hindered as Ronan experiences waves of nausea and pain due to her pregnancy. With Ronan's condition confirmed, Dom affectionately names their unborn child Dodo. While Dom provides comfort to Ronan, Jan grows anxious and urges them to seek shelter quickly, as the villagers have already begun the ritual. The ritual involves sacrificing the Chosen One and a goat at the entrance of the forbidden tunnel. Peering through the shadows, they witness the Chosen One wrapped in a thick blanket. Concerned for her well-being, Ronan and Dom consider taking her to a hospital. However, Jan remains fixated on capturing the moment on video and forcefully breaks down the door to the tunnel. As the door crumbles, eerie wailing voices resonate from the depths of the tunnel. Reluctant to leave his brother alone, Dom musters his courage and joins Jan inside. Meanwhile, Ronan stays behind, tending to the Chosen One. Suddenly, Ronan experiences sharp contractions, causing blood to flow from her. Panic sets in as Jan hastily emerges from the tunnel, shrieking in fear and dropping their video camera to the ground. In the wake of the villagers retrieving Dom's lifeless body from the dark tunnel, Granduncle angrily slaps Ronan for breaking the religious taboo. The Chosen One then offers her water from the frog's box. In a disoriented state, Ronan suddenly comprehends the origin of the water, which makes her leave the place angrily. As Ronan walks back to the village, she's startled to see unclothed villagers whose bodies are filled with runes and they are chanting the same incantation. Amidst the search for her vehicle, she stumbles upon a possessed Jan who tragically dies in front of her. She also spots Dom's lifeless body burning on a pole. Eventually, she escapes the place with nothing but her camera and 1,000 traumatic experiences. Following these harrowing events, Dodo was born, and Ronan, recognizing her unstable mental state, made the difficult decision to place her in a foster home. She then got her treatment, and during these sessions, Ronan desperately tried to convey the gravity of the curse in the video depicting the Mother Buddha statue in the tunnel. She warned that those who dared to watch it would be doomed to a fate of misfortune and death. In the present time, Ming, Ronan, and Ronan's daughter find themselves trying to return to the village in the mountains. However, they realize they're going in circles, and Ming decides to stop the car. Suddenly, a loud hammering sound shakes the car roof. Ronan quickly recites an incantation to banish the noise, and Ming joins in chanting. Gradually, the hammering subsides until it completely disappears. Then, Ming and Ronan seek guidance from a priest at a shrine. The priest performs an exorcism on the cursed video camera and feeds a blessed leaf to Dodo as part of the ritual. Before they leave, the priest's wife sternly warns Ronan not to feed Dodo for 7 days, as their lives depend on it. Ronan attempts to lift Dodo's spirits, but her pain becomes unbearable. Throughout the week, Dodo experiences excessive sweating, weakening legs, and strange marks on her body. Desperate for help, Ronan considers consulting a doctor, but doing so will mean defying the priest's orders. In a desperate attempt, Ronan resorts to administering a drip to Dodo as a substitute for food. Strangely, the drip transforms into a contaminated liquid, making it unsafe for Dodo. Left with no other choice, Ronan decides to feed her daughter a small piece of pineapple. Meanwhile, Ming borrows the video camera to investigate Ronan's past and delves into the lore surrounding Mother Buddha and the camera's footage. On the first day, he experiences a severe headache while attempting to restore the damaged footage. Ming notices that every restoration attempt fails once it reaches the part showing the inside of the tunnel. On the second day, one of his teeth unexpectedly falls out after comparing the Baphantian hand gesture in Tantric Buddhism, symbolizing collecting blessings, to a hand gesture used by the mountain villagers meaning to spread. The third day brings nosebleeds when he discovers that the texts and symbols on the camera may originate from the Brahmic script, an ancient script used to record Buddhist scriptures in India. He conducts further research and uncovers the existence of the last remaining Tantric Buddhist virgin monk, capable of translating these ancient scriptures. Determined to find answers, Ming embarks on a journey to locate the monk's temple for translation. After several sleepless nights, Ming finally concludes his research but appears unwell. He shares with Ronan a video clip of the virgin monk translating the peculiar incantation. but keeps the restored video of the tunnel to himself. Ming apologizes to Ronan for reporting her to the Social Affairs Bureau in the past, confessing that it was due to his lack of trust. Ming is aware of the consequences that come with studying the video. Tragically, he becomes possessed and repeatedly strikes his head until he dies. Then, Ronan is bombarded with spam text messages from Ming. Amidst this chaos, her attention is drawn to Dodo, who is writhing in agony due to the wounds on her body. These wounds are the direct consequence of breaking the agreement that came with the priest's warning to not feed her any food. Ronan tries to force Dodo to expel the pineapple she consumed, causing her to vomit. Amidst the puked mess, Ronan notices something peculiar, an untouched leaf being eaten by a caterpillar. Realizing the significance of this discovery, Ronan swiftly brings her daughter back to the temple. However, as they arrive, they are met with a grim scene. The priest lies lifeless, and Ronan's heart sinks as she realizes that it is too late. The wife, possessed by an unknown force, confronts them. She reveals to Dodo that she is cursed, a result of Ronan's failure to submit her name to the gods on the day Dodo received her name. The situation takes a terrifying turn as the possessed wife tears off her own skin, transforming into a grotesque monster that lunges towards Ronan. Yet Ronan's instincts kick in just in time, allowing her to evade the monster. In the midst of this chaos, Dodo mysteriously vanishes from her wheelchair, briefly levitating before plummeting back to the ground. Ronan panics and calls for an ambulance, desperately trying to save her daughter. Now alone in the house, Ronan seems to directly address the viewers. She recites a peculiar incantation and invites the viewers to join her in chanting, urging them to memorize the displayed insignia. Ronan then simplifies the meaning of the incantation, drawing from the knowledge of the virgin monk. It is revealed that this incantation originates from a religion that worships the malevolent Dahe Mother Buddha, a deity that has gained influence throughout Southeast Asia. The followers of this religion have carried the burden of bad karma for generations, and they use incantation as a means of receiving blessings. These blessings accumulate with each person who chants the incantation, forming a protective shield around them. Later, Ronan receives devastating news from the doctor. Dodo's condition has worsened. As night falls, something astonishing happens. Dodo manages to elude the nurses and follows an invisible presence outside the hospital building. This mysterious entity leads Dodo to the unconscious chosen one from 6 years ago, lying on the side of the road. The news broadcasts the revelation of the chosen one, while Dodo is quickly rushed back to the hospital. The next day, Ronan takes action. She dismembers the right ear of the unconscious chosen one. Finally, she unveils the restored tunnel video. The footage shows Dom and Yan inside the tunnel, which in reality is a vast maze. Buddha statues, shattered enchanted mirrors, mutilated body parts, and locks of hair adorn each altar. But their attention is drawn to Mother Buddha, concealed beneath a cloth at the heart of the maze. The statues mimic the hand gesture of the villagers. Unfortunately, curiosity gets the better of Dom. He peeks beneath the covers, leading to his demise. Possessed, he behaves violently in the remaining footage. Meanwhile, disembodied voices echo through the tunnel, and strange arms emerge from the walls, attacking Dom. Yan tries to save his brother, but it's too late. Dom's face, bleeding and unrecognizable, reveals his transformation, and he turns on Yan. Despite the attack, Yan manages to escape the tunnel. Returning to the present, Dodo remains in the hospital, while Ronan returns all of her belongings to the foster home. Recognizing the growing danger, Ronan decides to comply with the court's decision. Then, she returns to the village, determined to put an end to the ordeal. Entering the forbidden tunnel, Ronan's body is filled with written runes. She proceeds to destroy everything inside, sparing only Mother Buddha's statue and altar. The movie reaches its climax as Ronan offers the mutilated ear of the chosen girl and recites the incantation before Mother Buddha's statue. However, Ronan reveals a shocking truth to the viewers. She had lied about the purpose of the incantation. According to the explanation from the virgin monk, the incantation originates from a local Chinese dialect. It translates to "misfortune and blessing depend on one another," and "death and life lie in the name." Reciting their name along with the incantation means unwittingly accepting Mother Buddha's curse instead of receiving its blessing. On the other hand, the insignia acts as a spell to transfer the curse to strangers. As viewers memorize the insignia, they unknowingly bear the burden of the curse. The intention behind the incantation is to dilute the curse, making the burden it brings lighter. Ronan believes this is the only way to bring her cursed daughter back to life. She pleads with the viewers one last time to submit their names and recite the strange incantation alongside her. Afterwards, Ronan offers herself to the deity, willingly allowing it to possess her. Blindfolded, she forcefully slams her head. Finally, Ronan reveals Mother Buddha's face, the very source of the curse. Due to the growing number of viewers, Dodo's health is restored, as the curse's weight is distributed among them.